In inches? No.
That's a can of Coke. Can of cock?
Can of cock?
Yeah, can you see? Because that thing's in the way for me, the lens. Am I in it?
You're in it, yeah.
Does it-
It looks like you're interviewing us.
Yeah.
So it's.
No, not that, but like people just like, you see people go in the gym and they literally just start putting plates on. I think I ain't even warmed up. Shit out of the way. I say, welcome back everybody to YouTube, but we are in a different location and we are doing a podcast today with myself, Oliver, and the big dog Martin. So stay tuned because we're going to chat shit.
I'm gonna ramble.
Ollie rambles.
I'm gonna ramble and I'm gonna disagree with myself.
Big fallout.
I think this, but you're wrong. I know I'm wrong, but I think it anyway.
Right, let's get some users' questions out of the way.
Yes.
I'll ask a few now, and then we can talk upon them. And then I'll ask some after, just in case we get any like dry spots between conversation. We just
Sounds like a date.
I'll go in with Elliot Clark's. Just remember this, because I'll probably ask you the exact same question. Like the next time.
Screenshot and just draw a red line through it.
Not a bad idea.
Go on, Big Elliot.
Right, so how do you handle days when you're low on energy or motivation?
That is every day.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think for me it's just routine, innit? I just know I wake up Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I go to the gym at 8:30.
Yeah, because it is part of your daily routine,
Yeah,
so it's
that's
just
that.
fixed in stone.
Yeah, and that's that.
Whether you can be asked or not, it's still a task that you're just going to do.
Yeah, but I did move it from going in the evening to on a morning because there was times when you get home on an evening, you sit down, don't you, and you're like, and then you wake up.
Yeah.
A minute, just
Yeah,
sit on the sofa.
Sat down for 5
I should
seconds.
really
too
get that
long.
gym session in. Peak time now. Oh, I run into that person I don't want to talk to. Yeah.
So that's
You go.
that's an interesting point as well, because that gets asked all the time. Like, which is the best? Should I be training in the morning? Should I be training in the evening? And I guess the majority of time is whatever suits you.
Yeah.
Because
Whichever you know you can stick to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're working a 12-hour hard labour intensive job, are you going to want to use your energy in the gym before or try and go after?
Yeah, I think in summer, yeah, easy. This time of year, when you get home, you've been out like cold, it's wet, you have a nice hot meal, you sit on the sofa, fire on. Nothing's making you put your gym clothes on and leave the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be a big pull to try and get you out of that.
Yeah.
Planning ahead, innit?
Yeah. So, like, in that sense, it's not like you're seeking any motivation.
No, I just go because it's routine. Even if you go in on an evening, just have a set time. Don't go, I'll go tonight, but I'll go at some point, because at some point don't come to see.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's part of a routine, like putting your shoes on before you leave the house. You're going to do it, or else you're going to go out. Well, you know what I mean? It's not people. I think we put a post out about this a bit back about people seem to assume that guys and girls who are succeeding very well have this bottle of motivation that others, that they just don't have, and that's why you're doing so well, and or that's why you're progressing, and they're not, because they don't have the motivation that you do. But motivation really in the driver for the success of it.
It's a byproduct. What
Yeah.
are you doing?
Yes, obviously there's some days where you're proper hyped up for a session anyway, but that literally comes on and goes. It's not there all the time.
Yeah. There's other variables, isn't it? Like how you slept the night before.
Yeah.
What you've eaten. It's not waking up and going, I'm doing this because I love it.
Yeah,
It's because we have to now.
Yeah.
It's part of almost like our DNA now.
Yeah, well, I just think it's literally just part of your routine. It's, you know that, like you say, you're not going to leave the house without putting your shoes on. It's just become that, I've got that to do before you, whatever, so.
Also, I'd like to expand on it a little bit though. If you are finding you need to motivate yourself that much to go, are you enjoying it?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not enjoying it, work out why you're not enjoying it
Yeah.
and change that.
See, that delves into like mindset, doesn't it? Because you get a little bit deep, but if you're wanting to, you've got to enjoy it, but there's got to be a reason for you to want to be doing it. If you're not doing it for any purpose other than you feel like someone said that's what you've got to do, you aren't really going to be consistent. So if you have self-belief that what you're going to achieve or what you're seeking at the end of it is achievable, then you will continue. So it will become part of your this is required from me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you say, if not there, why are you doing it? Otherwise, if it feels like you physically are in pain doing it, or you have to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I'm expanding, going off on one random tangents.
Yeah, go on.
But you need to use. Sometimes you can't just find that motivation. You can't just think, I just need to go to the gym. You need to set up like point A to motivate point B, innit? So like say you can hit your diet perfect all day, you're gonna go to the gym, aren't you?
Yeah.
Or like if you hit your training perfect the night before, you know, next day you think, right, I need to make most of my nutrition.
Yeah.
So you can like make those two motivate each other.
Yeah.
But if you're one of them lags where you know you're eating like shit, and then you just don't have motivation to go to the gym because what's the point? Like,
Can't be
this is going to amplify that. But if you're not doing this, is there any point in doing that?
It's the old cliche of them going hand in hand, because it really does, doesn't it? You soon find when you clean your diet up, not clean it up, but you know what I mean, when you start focusing on it a bit more, your training improves massively because you feel like everything you're doing in the gym now is beneficial to your goal.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You start being aware more of the food that you're picking off the shelf, or the amount or the quantities or anything, specifically because you know you had a good session and you don't want to offset each one with bad results or whatever.
Yeah, and like in the day you'll think, no, I'll not have like that KFC for lunch because it'll sit heavy and then I'll not have any energy later because I'll get home and I'll just want to...
Yeah, I want to nap straight away,
Yeah.
Accountability is a big one for that, isn't it, as well? Not for like just you find motivation through accountability to something.
Yeah.
So you have to, for your actions.
Yeah.
And then if your actions are good over time, then you will become motivated to do that more because you can see the results of why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So you'll go, oh, what should I do? I can't bother to go to the gym.
Because it's easy to get home and go, oh, I'm not going to the gym today because I've had a hard day.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to the gym today because I'm not taking myself to the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy to blame something else, isn't it? But when you start just being accountable...
And less pressure as well, like, you work out, well, you're a prime example, it doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be an hour and a half.
Yeah, well there is
if
that.
If you've got 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah, there is that, which is like I think it's like a deal breaker mindset where they've got this number of, you know, like 90 minutes I have to be in the gym, and then when they look and they haven't got 90 minutes, they just don't go to the gym.
Yeah.
Instead of realising like 20 minutes is better than no minutes.
Yes.
You can still go in and get a solid pump on and go through your session in that time.
Yeah.
And even if you don't get what you would say was the best session, it was still better than no session. And not only that, again, it holds that place in your routine. It's when you start filling your routine with other things that you sort of squeeze out your training times and then struggle to find time to train.
Yeah.
When effectively, if that's a permanent non-negotiable, is that the word? Non-negotiable, yeah. You then find time to do your other things around your training, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to another question. So, I hope that answers your question, Elliot. We probably went off a little bit
Listening, Elliot.
Now this is a delicate one.
Oh God.
You probably saw it. It's from Sarah Reader, and the question is, how do you deal with body dysmorphia?
We don't.
It'll never go away, will it?
No, never. And then I think that's almost a driving factor as to why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because you're never happy with how you look, but some people would kill to look like you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll probably have the same. When people look at you and think when you're about ready for your show, they'll think fucking hell, their confidence must be through the roof. But it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The better you get, the more critical you become with yourself.
Yeah, and you're also aware that people are going to be criticising your physique as well, so the intensity of that thought process is like amplified. You're like, oh god, you know you're putting everything you've done in front of people.
Yeah.
So if ever, you're more critical of yourself at that moment, where people are looking on the outside and going, oh, he looks great, you must feel amazing. Like somehow this feeling comes with how you look, or...
Yeah, but also with being at that state as well, obviously you're in the calorie deficit, so your head's fucked. And like one morning you wake up and think, I'm fucking great.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. And then the next morning you wake up and think, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Look at me. Well, you're gone from carrying like, what, 15 kilo of fat and you're alright, everything's fine because you see it all, and then you're carrying just like 3 kilo of fat. But you can see every gram of them exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Like, no, why are you there? Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just gets, bro, you think it should get better, but it probably gets worse.
So in your answers, you don't deal with it, you live with it. So, and you're aware of it.
And it's even hard to live with sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, off season, like sometimes that's really fucking hard. Because you miss being shredded.
Yeah.
And you
God.
miss the hype of being shredded, and like, oh, you're going on stage, you look mint, mate, what's your story? And then after it's just like, flat.
Yeah, and
Well,
also
there's a bigger purpose, but you have to try and remember that.
also from like let's say a spectator's point of view, they're more intense with like following you, messaging you, focusing on giving you attention when you're shredded.
Yeah.
So when you come back to going into, let's say, like, you know, your off season, you're not getting the same attention, and I'm not saying this is what you're after, but physically you're not receiving the same compliments, you're not receiving the same messages or response from people because they're not seeing the shredded version of you. But they don't. If you don't understand what we do and that whole process from the outside, you've gone backwards.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a weird concept, isn't it? But yeah, that's actually the forward process.
I'd actually like find it the opposite. I find like the off season easier.
Yeah.
And I'm just like comfortable. You know, like, when you're on prep or anything, you have a pack of biscuits, you can see it and you can feel it. Whereas like now I can have some biscuits and it's fine.
Yeah.
I walk around still in a t-shirt, I still feel confident and everything. Obviously, I'm not going to be topless as much. But like walking around like this where I can eat a bit better, got more energy to like work and all stuff like that. And I'm not getting people messaging me all the time like, how do you do it? I just like do this. Like, no, really. Like, yeah, it's just that.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
I
that-
prefer it like having, I don't know, like less messages to answer. Where it's just always the same questions, isn't it, with the same answers. And it's just like, no.
Yeah.
So you should not telling me something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to take it away from actual questions from people specifically, the reason. So obviously, you two have both competed multiple times this year. Oliver picked up his pro card. A fucking amazing experience. John didn't, so you know. Very good season for both of you. Really good, and I think there's some insight that if I was a listener, if I was a viewer, whatever, the sort of stuff I want to take from you guys is a little bit different to the questions that they're saying. I want to discuss training a little bit more. I want to discuss training beyond what people see on a 12-week fucking program or, you know, an ebook that they can get from their favourite fucking bodybuilder. I want to know more about
The what and the why.
Yeah, like I want to know.
Yeah, no, everything's like this split, this work, exercise, this many reps.
Yeah.
But no reason as to why.
I want to get into that mindset of when, you know, so physically when you look at a piece of paper and it says 12 reps, 3 sets of this, and there is literally, to me, that is the loosest form of understanding any form of training. But yet, if you're a beginner and you're looking at that, you think that is going to get you where you need to be.
Yeah, like this is how he trains.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas I'm more, I want to give the message out there. I want people to understand more like the feel of what they should be feeling, what they should be expecting, what they, you know, through the session. So, because they'll feel like maybe they've selected the wrong weight and they've gone for the 12 reps and the managed 8 and they've failed. Whereas the intensity that they were lifting, that they actually probably pushed nearer to failure.
Yeah.
They probably got more benefit from that set, but in their head they failed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, for you,
Yeah, I just go in and tick boxes, don't I? You know, I'm kind of a nerd, aren't I? And I'll read loads and loads of studies, and for me, I want to go in and I want to ensure I've hit a full range of motion for an exercise. I want to ensure I've put
What
some
do you
load
mean?
on my muscle.
what do you mean by full range of motion?
Full range of motion to me is getting a muscle at its fully lengthened position, like fully stretched. So in a bicep, if I was doing a bicep, it'd be where my biceps pulled behind me and it's like stretching my front delt and forearm. So obviously if they're at their stretch point, my biceps as long as it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that to me is stretch, and that to me is my full range of motion. And to me, the bottom of that rep where you are stretched out, that's tension.
Right.
And that's where I think, the time under tension thing is working into a full range of motion, holding it, a bit of a squeeze. And then, so yeah, that's what I always start my exercise on that, because working into that full range of motion, I find I'm stretching my joints out, getting blood in, and I'm like opening up the fascia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, sounds proper boring, doesn't it?
No,
It's
no,
over
no.
nerdy.
No, this is.
But like, if you come in and you want to go on something really heavy straight away, but you haven't loosened your joints up and you haven't got your muscle ready, you're just not going to perform as well as you want.
Yeah.
And you're going to risk injury more.
So that's the exact sort of thing I'm looking for when we're trying to give information to someone about their training, because actually I guess that comes into the mind muscle as well, because
Yeah.
that is a term that gets used so much, but people don't really understand it because they just think, oh, I'm just being aware of that muscle, but it takes a better level of awareness that what you're doing and how it's contracting and how you're like focusing on getting a stretch or a pump or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's literally why I want to pick your brains about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I would start every session. Is I always work a muscle into its fully lengthened position for 3 sets. And I usually go high reps, because I feel like when you are in your fully lengthened position, that's your highest risk of injury.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be putting too much load on, because when you change that direction, you'll all have seen videos of when people like tearing tendons and that. It's always at that part of the rep, innit?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the time, yeah.
Yeah, so I keep it lighter and just go for more volume, higher reps kind of thing. And then you get involved in the like weight versus no weight, don't you? But
Yeah.
yeah, for that section, work full range of motion, not too high weight, because you've got loads of different boxes to tick, haven't you? I think if you Google it, it says for achieving hypertrophy you need mechanical tension, don't you? Something to do with load and metabolic stress. Yeah.
All the details.
Yeah, all the details. What is it? It's load something in it. Well, you need your muscle under load or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. I just have them 3 things and I ensure I tick them boxes in the way I interpret them.
Yeah.
Interpretation
is a big part of it.
Yeah, because like to a lot of people, time under tension is holding the weight, like doing a long rep. But to me, time under tension is when you're fully lengthened, because
that's when
to
the
me,
muscles that is most taut.
Yeah, when I think tension, I think like a rope at its full stretch kind of thing.
And that again, because that's a phrase that's used all the time, is time under tension. So the misinterpretation, or not, could be where obviously the illusion is the amount of time that's taken through the rep itself is time under tension.
Yeah.
So again, the understanding between what's said all of the time and what you perceive it to be could be the reason why people are either progressing better than others or non-progressing.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, this is why I'm picking your brains. Like, I want to hear exactly your opinions and what you do in your training. This goes to you as well.
Just like for me, time and tension is controlling the load from start to the end. But I like to pause as well in the end of the eccentric and on the concentric. So the concentric, for those that don't know, to contract. The eccentric, the stretch phase of the movement. But I want to feel it from the very beginning point of the stretch. So let's say incline Smith press. As soon as I take the weight off and bring it down, I'm stretching to the point of obviously being comfortable and safe. Pause, so therefore I'm loaded in the fully lengthened position, and then I press. But I just want to be under control at all times.
Yeah.
But then I also like to go from high rep range, less weight, but then I do like to overload and just aim for like a set of 6.
Yeah.
Just to see how strong I can be. And then with that weight, the way I'm working at the minute is I'll try and get 7 of it the week after, 8, 9, 10. Then I'll opt for a new weight at a set of 6. And my theory behind that is if I do set 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on a certain weight, that's 5 weeks of me mastering that weight.
Yeah.
Getting better and better each week. So therefore when I come to my new weight of 6, I should be okay to press it. And it's not too heavy that I can't do it.
And then also you progressively overloading.
Yes. So yeah, like progressive overload, which I did a post about, so things like drop sets, cluster sets, supersets, and the weight as well. Just mixing it all into one little ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like before I can go to a certain weight, I've got to earn the right to get to that weight.
Yeah, instead of just jumping up for the sake of jumping up because you feel stronger on that day, because that
Yes.
could necessarily just be your food on the day, your sleep on the day, your recovery, however.
Yeah.
You might you find it anyway, don't you? Some days you jump on a machine and you think, wow, fucking load. And then some weeks you were a hell of a lot weaker.
Yeah.
And that's all part of it, depending on the stage and where you're going. So like if you're eating into a gain phase, you are going to gain strength. That's the idea, that's the objective. So if you're in a cut, we're looking at it in a completely different mindset as well. But it's understanding the basics between where you are, what you're doing, and then because if you still should be able to gain or retain your strength in a cut to a certain point. Obviously when we get down to lower levels of body fat, it does become harder.
And I enjoy going to failure on sets as well.
Yeah.
Which I know some people don't, which is fair enough.
And so would you class failure as full failure, or what percentage of your, I
think failure but being safe with it.
Yeah.
So something like a dumbbell press, I'm probably maybe not going to go to failure because it's risk of injury, like me dropping the dumbbell. But
yeah,
say a machine where if I fail then it's safe and I can walk out of it and then there's no injury done.
Yeah. And the reason I ask that is because some people believe they failed before they have failed. I've seen people think they're fighting a rep and they'll lock it out or whatever straight away. Whereas you know full well part of the battle, as long as you're not going to an excessive level of injury or anything like that, part of the battle is what will establish the growth.
Yeah, like the partial reps and stuff, I know it's like quite a big thing in the industry, but I like doing them anyway, just at the end of my failed set, but as long as it's safe.
Yeah.
So I'll get a few partials in because the numbers are just a guide.
Yeah.
I like to do things at 6 and things at 20 reps, things at 30 reps.
And in all fairness, there's plenty of machines in pretty much any gym you go where you can do your 2 failure set on a machine where you're in a safer position. Because like, for an example, you use dumbbells, that's a clear one to me where you are likely, unless you've got a really good spotter or 2 spotters, because then depending on what you're doing with your dumbbells, they're going either way or whatever. But if it's anything you can put on a Smith's machine, obviously you've got 5 or 6 lockout points, you're alright.
Yeah, it's smart. But I probably won't go to failure and say a barbell squat because I'm not walking out of it.
Yeah.
It ain't worth it. But on a hack squat, I probably would go to failure because I can just get out at the bottom.
Yeah, you can still lock it out, whatever, it'll stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to move into another question, so we've got point of conversation moving.